So, how are you guys doing? Um, so I was thinking the other day, what makes me feel content, and where do I get my validation from? Because those are the biggest markers for satisfaction in your life, right? On a day to day or in your life, just what makes you feel content. If you feel content, you're happy with your life. You don't need anything else, right? And if you get contentment through validation, then what validates you? And you know what makes you content, and you can have a good life, right? And so I was thinking, and so the first one that's obvious is the biggest source of validation is from other people, your family, your friends, strangers, even. They all give you a sense of validation. If they think your outfit looks cool, you feel validated. If they think you're creative, it gives you validation. And it validates whatever idea of yourself you feel needs the validation, right? Because you're gonna notice it. And it feels great when someone you respect or love gives you appreciation and makes you feel like great about yourself. Because when they give you a compliment, or even if it's not a compliment, but they do something where you're like, I appreciate that and I feel good, it makes you feel like you belong and you're enough. At least for me. Someone I really like tells me a compliment about something, I'm gonna like really think about it and be like, that makes me feel complete. I feel more now. Without the validation, I wouldn't feel as complete. And you can already start to see problems with that. Because if you don't manage that reaction that you have to it, well, eventually you're going to start depending on it or counting on the validation from other people. And you're going to start living for it. Because that's where you're going to get your sense of contentness. That's the word now. I hope it is. But if you depend on other people, well, then that's not in your control anymore, and you're just gonna get disappointed eventually, right? And you don't want to be disappointed by other people. It's not their fault. It's your fault because you put your expectation in them. You put your sense of self-worth in them. Everyone's gone through this before. Everyone. Someone who you hold their opinion so you hold their opinion to such a high value, or a family member, you want to prove to your parents that you're enough, you're smart, you're capable, you're not a disappointment or whatever, being dramatic. But actually, no, it's like that. You start to live for them, and you live for them so much that you start to lose pieces of yourself in the process. And it's a cycle of disappointment, and then you're just chasing that rush of being validated again. It's dangerous. It's toxic. And what makes this even worse, I love how I'm holding this pen like a magic wand. What makes this even worse is social media, because now you're just hyper aware of how you look to other people. You're scrolling, you're seeing all these people's lives. You're seeing way too much of other people's lives, actually. Like, you see people in the toilet every day, like, making videos. You're on the toilet watching them. But you see all these hyper detailed versions of people's lives. And there's so much, too much information about each person. And the best part is, the funniest thing about it is that none of it is real. That's my washing machine. But you see all this information, all these things about people's lives. Someone's in Santorini eating lobster. Your first human reaction is like, that's sick. Your second human reaction is, I'm not in Santorini eating lobster. Your third one is, I'm lacking because I'm not that. That gap, you immediately create that gap, and that's just straight insecurity. But what is that from? That's from someone else living their own life, and you just stumble across it on social media. And so now, what this creates is, insecurity inside you, and you start to think, okay, I need to start showing people that no, my life actually isn't lame. And so you start seeing yourself from other people's perspectives, and you're aware of yourself more than anyone is ever aware of you. And when you're all scrolling on social media now, or when you're living your life on a day-to-day basis, you're thinking, oh, I can post this and people will think of me cool. I'll post this workout I did and that girl I like will think I'm a fit guy because she likes running, and it's just going to create this image of me, and da 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 da. And everyone's doing this on social media. No one cares more about themselves than themselves. It's true. And if you think about it, it's bizarre. It starts from viewing other people's lives, and then you start viewing your life with as much scrutiny, I guess. Focus on your own life so much and how it looks, you're losing the point. You're just living for validation from other people. And you can get so lost in this. Your whole thing now is when you walk around, how do I look? Oh, I hope my outfit is cool. Oh, I'm gonna eat this because it's gonna make me look fit, and people will think I'm attractive, and all these things that I probably don't care about if people didn't exist and I was alone on a remote island. Right? We're not alone on remote islands. But you get the point. You're hyper aware, and social media is making that even worse. And so the question is, okay, that's one source of validation. If I can get past that, what's next? People might tell you, you are your own source of validation. Just depend on yourself. That's like the next logical answer, because what else can validate you? Like your own work that you make? It's inanimate. It doesn't have any inherent. You're the one who's viewing your creative things, and you give yourself validation. So, is that the solution? Well, if you're depending on yourself for validation, you're still depending on someone. And I argue that that person, yourself, is the worst person to depend on. Are you kidding me? You are your biggest judge. You think you're gonna let yourself get off easy with doing things and giving yourself compliments and all that? You can love yourself, but you're not gonna be consistent in loving yourself. You're emotional, things happen to you, you're in different moods. It's normal, everyone's like that. And some people are more judges of themselves than others. I'm a great judge of myself, even though I love myself. But then there's some days I'm like, I don't give myself the validation that I need, or want, rather. And so it's just as bad to depend on yourself than to depend on others, because it's inconsistent. You're gonna go through cycles of feeling insecure, and then, oh no, actually I'm good. Oh no, I'm not. Oh, actually I'm cool. I'm not. I'm this. I'm that. Okay. So what? Nothing. No one can help me. Not even myself. To feel validated. It's doomed. That's because validation is outcome dependent. You're depending on someone else or something else to happen to make you feel complete. The validation itself is the problem in the equation. It's not the source of the validation that is the problem. It's not where do I get my validation so I can be content. It's no, why do I need validation to be content? It's, do I need validation to be content? No, you don't. It's a trap. The need for validation in the first place, as you can see in like these stories we're talking about, social media, all these things, starts with insecurity. Once you feel like there's a hole in your identity, you feel you need to fill it with something, and you need to find it from outside. In someone else's opinion, in a story like something like that. You feel like you need to find it to make yourself whole. But that's the problem, is that you are always whole in the first place. So what's the solution? How do you feel? It sounds impossible. How do you just feel always good about yourself? It's not about feeling good about yourself, but it's about knowing your self-worth inherently from before anything, before anyone can even enter your sphere. And how do you do that? It's by being sure in yourself. That's the answer that you're looking for. Being sure in yourself is how you feel content in your life without any validation. But how do you be sure in yourself? How do I know I'm enough? Right? You can tell yourself, oh, it's a miracle that I'm alive, because it is. But you can tell yourself all these things, but you probably still won't believe it. Because it's like, hey, at the end of the day, now when I walk around, I just feel kind of lame. That's fine, that's normal. But my answer to this is, you look back to when you were a kid, or even certain moments through your life, there's a frequency, there's a resonating frequency that sometimes you can tap into it, where you just feel like you're really tuned in with everything going on around you right now. You feel present, you feel like any decision you make is correct, any decision you make is perfect, and regardless of what happens after that decision, you're like, yeah, I did the right thing 1000% in that moment. It could be as simple as choosing a path to walk to class today. I'm gonna just walk in the path that I feel is the most connected to me. It sounds so silly, but it could be like that. And so constantly do what you believe is meant for you, and what you believe is the right thing for you from deep inside, in every moment. Even if it's a bit counter-logical, even if it goes against what advice people tell you, if you just keep doing what you think is right, you're gonna mess up a few times. You're gonna do stupid things, but you know that came from you 1000%. And so you know every time you interact with the world through your true self, you're connecting with the world. You understand what I'm trying to say? I'm putting myself out there authentically. I'm doing it 100% for me, from me, and the world's gonna respond, and I'm gonna learn how to tango with the world, how to be a part of it authentically. And so each day I'm doing this for myself. I'm working out so I can feel good. I'm eating the foods I like to nourish my body. I'm creatively expressing myself in an authentic manner. I talk to people with absolute honesty. I'm honest with myself. I'm setting projects for myself that I want to do for myself. The world will respond to you as authentically as you put yourself out there. It's going to tell you how it is, regardless. And so you do that enough, for long enough, and then you realize, well, I'm at this position now where I'm so tuned in with myself and the world, and I do things for myself, and I love myself. What is one person's opinion gonna do to my sense of wholeness? I'm invincible to that stuff. Not really, but kind of am. Now you look at someone's story. He's in Santorini eating lobster. You're looking at it with the initial feeling of contentment. You're thinking, I'm the man. I'm living for myself. I have this life in front of me, and I've built all these things, and I just know exactly what my life is. Not what it isn't. I know what it is, 100%. And so when you see your friend in Santorini eating lobster, you're like, man, I'm happy for you. That's your life. That's amazing. I have my life, and you have your life, and there's no difference between them. It's just how it is, this and that. I don't need that. I have this. It's powerful. And if you want to go to Santorini and eat lobster, go do that. You have the power to do that if it's right for you. I'm not saying you need to live this small, simple life. I'm saying you just live your life first and understand that you give yourself proof that you're the person that you say you are, that you think you are every day. yourself over and over and over, and you have intrinsically, before you do any of this anyway, you're born with just, you're an onion. You have thousands of layers of you being your full self, and slowly people start to break away at it through your life. But your true self in here is it's so real that when you tap in and you live through it all the time, you become a version of yourself that's just invincible to external opinions. Opinions from other people are tools, right? We're social creatures. I'm not saying to live on your own accord and everything. Like, you need that stuff, right? You need opinions, you need to interact with people. But you're like the sun, and the opinions can orbit you. You can push them away, like, or the people around you are the planets, but you are the sun. Your life doesn't exist without the sun, the solar system. It's your life. It doesn't exist without you, right? But it can exist without Mars. Go way worse. No one likes you. But yeah, I struggle with that a lot, validation and all these things. Everyone does, I'm sure, but it's not a nice feeling to feel like you're lacking, like you're not the man. Like, to feel like you need someone else's validation to feel complete. It's not a nice feeling. So every day, just find yourself first. Do things for yourself. And if you find yourself struggling with needing someone else's validation or feeling insecure, write it down. Do something hard. Just prove to yourself, like, yeah, I accept that I feel this way, but I don't accept that it's gonna stay this way. I am the man. You're the man. Love yourself. Keep a hard head and an open heart.